Hello! Welcome back to Tyne Northeastern. As you can see, I'm painting a back scene. But you don't want to watch me for the next half hour doing the back scene, do you? No, I didn't think so. Right, as you've just witnessed, I've started to paint the back scene. The idea being is, if I'm running trains in this area, you won't see what's beyond this area, which is the Newcastle Junction and the MPD, the steam depot. And not only that, when that bridge is done, you will actually be drawn into it. That's what I think anyway. That's the idea. So, what have I been doing? Let's have a quick update. I have added the track plan to the control panel now, along with the switches. They're not wired up yet, that's something I've got to do, but that kind of finishes off the control panel. Let's just move that lid, except there's still one more station to add, but that will come in later. I have now connected the South Shields branch up to the rest of the layout in readiness of getting my controller back. Should be within the next few weeks now, so that'll be good when I get that back. When I was measuring up for the station, I wasn't sure how big the station main building was going to be until I saw that photograph, looking up the bank and seeing how far those main buildings come out. So I have allowed 60mm for the platform. Then I added, say, another 90mm for the booking hall and all the other little buildings, and then I have to allow another 60mm for the main station frontage. So that means I'm going to have to extend this side further out this way by at least approximately 8 inches. This much, just so that the front is not right on the edge of the baseboard. So that just shows you how big that station is going to be. So the plan is this week is to carry on with the back scene and get all the back scene scenery in place. Right, that's the blue sky done. I've had to touch up a little bit in the corner there, but yeah, I'm ready for the clouds now. I have mixed up some paints, so I've got a lighter blue, a little bit of white and a little bit of grey there. So all I'm going to do is just dab it on and curl it over, just to form the basis of the clouds. Just twisting the brush in semicircles and then just add in little bits of white here and there. Like so. Well, that's the clouds done, and looking good. Mr. Blue Sky is now finished. So, how I'm going to turn that little back scene into the River Tyne. And here we have the River Tyne. It's the Pico back scenes I'm using, and this one is the dock centre. It's SK20 in the large size, and all I'm interested in is the ships in the background buildings, because I've already got the sky, so I'm actually cutting out along these edges, keeping the cranes as well, using a scalpel. Now I'm not going to use that much of it, it's only about 500 mils worth, which is about 1.5 feet. So when this is cut out and glued on the back, we shall have a look. Okay, as you can see, we now have the River Tyne. Took me an age to cut these out from the Pico town scene sheets, and if you look closely you may even see a few seagulls. Right, so I'm not sure where I'm gonna go from here, because I've got some card on order, and the next thing to do is concentrate on the bridge, so hopefully that'll come soon, and we can start building the bridge. Now that my bridge buttresses have been completed, I've come up with the idea of just using some fine grit sandpaper to go around the buttresses, and this is grade P320. Now I've never tried this before, so let's just see how it works out. So if you're going to attempt this, I suggest you when cutting the sandpaper, cut it from the back rather than the front of the sandpaper, just in case it blunts the scalpel, which I presume it will do, or it'll at least blunt it a little bit. So all I'm doing is cutting the sandpaper into strips of 98mm, which is the height of the actual bridge buttresses. There we go, and what I'll do is I'll mark out the corners on the back, and then we can fold them and then glue them on to the buttresses. Okay, just before I glue this piece of sandpaper to the bridge buttress, I'm just going to score some lines just to add some detail, and what I'm going to do is use an old bradawl, and I'm just going to score a few lines just to add some extra detail, just to see if it comes through when I come to paint it. Say 8mm for the corners. just by pressing nice and hard, and leave a gap, say of about 30 mm. It might not work, so it's just something I want to try. Just to be different, really. Okay, finished scribing the sandpaper, and I've pushed down quite firmly and it's just left a line. So let's stick it on the buttress and we'll see what it looks like. Right, as you can see, it don't look too bad. It looks quite right. I'm not sure what it's going to look like when it's dried, but at the moment you would quite easily mistake that for a concrete buttress. And there's the other one there. I've made a start on the little stone wall that goes around the bottom there, so I'll just quickly show you how I'm doing that. It's just on a piece of wood, 3mm diameter, 20mm high, and what I've done is I've actually scored the tops for the coping stones rather than using the favoured coffee stirring sticks this time, just to see how that's going to look when it's painted. And that will just go in along the back there. And I've got one more piece to put in here. Now that the retaining wall is glued in place at the end of the line, the next thing I want to concentrate on is another retaining wall from the edge of that buttress there all the way across to the end of that backboard. So what I'm going to do, I've pre-drilled these little blocks here, and I've already marked out where the wall is going to go here, and it's quite a funny shape. It's like an S bend, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these blocks in place and then glue the retaining wall to those. Okay, that's the blocks glued and pinned. Ready? So the next thing to do is to put this little retaining wall up. I'm not going to bother putting the stone on yet because I've got to clamp this to the blocks and could end up damaging the stonework. Right, that's the retaining wall glued and secured in there now, so I've just got to wait for that to go off, which probably be like tomorrow now. And along with the pinned blocks, I've added some extra blocks just glued in there, just to make sure that when it goes off it doesn't spring out. Right, I think that's all we've got time for this week. Quite a bit of progress, I think. So that's all from me now. See you again next week. Bye for now. Bye.